Welcome everyone, I'm Christine Drummond and you are joining me on the mat today for another session of our Year of Yoga journey as we sit nice and tall in the seated pose position, bringing our hands together at our heart center, setting an intention for today. Taking our arms above our head and then forward folding the upper body over the legs and then pulling back, coming back up, raising the arms and then exhaling as we lower the body. Inhaling, raising the arms high, exhaling as we forward fold. Moving the arms side to side. In a big U shape, breathing in and out with each transition, and then coming to the center and gently resting your forehead on your arms if you can reach. Otherwise, just hovering above the arms is fine, dropping the head heavy and feeling that beautiful stretch in and around the hips. Just taking a moment here to check in and send breath to any tight spots. And then gently pushing it back up. Crossing the legs in the other way. We're going to stretch out the other hip this time. Taking a big deep breath in as our arms go up overhead and then forward folding the upper body over the legs. Inhaling as we rise, taking the arms high again. Exhaling as we fall forward. One more time, taking the arms high and then forward folding over the legs. Big U shape with the hands from side to side. Inhaling, exhaling. Beautiful. Warming up that back and then gently coming down to rest the head on the forearms. And just breathing deeply here. And again, taking a moment to send love and affection to any tight spots that you might be feeling in and around the hips or the back. And just bringing some awareness to those areas as we push back up into the seated pose position. And then crossing the right leg over the left. Right hand on the floor behind and then twisting around to the right. Left leg is folded up underneath the body. And we're feeling this beautiful stretch in and around the right glute. Breathing deeply and sitting tall on those sit bones. And then gently releasing, bringing the left leg over the right, hugging the left leg into the chest with the right arm, and left hand is on the floor behind the body as we twist around to the left. Folding the left knee over the top of the right now and melting the body over the top of the legs. Both feet are by the side of our hips, and we're gently resting our chin on our knee. Breathing deeply, filling up the diaphragm, the rib cage, letting that air fill our lungs, feeling the expansion in the physical body as we inhale, and then feeling it all contract on the exhale. Couple more deep breaths here. And then gently pushing up with the hands. We're going to cross the legs the other way now. So the right leg over the left. The knees come on top of each other. The feet by our sides. And if this pose causes you any pain in the knees or the hips, then just pull out of the pose and come into a closed-legged child's pose, or you can come into downward facing dog. We don't want to cause any pain to the physical body, so just make sure you are bringing your attention and your awareness to the limitations of the physical self, and you're not going past those limitations. Bring the soles of the feet together now in butterfly pose, gently guiding the knees towards the earth. Arms are straight. We're sitting up nice and tall, pulling the shoulders away from the head. And we have this beautiful space occurring between our vertebrae as we sit nice and tall, elongating that spine. And then placing both hands behind the bottom and pushing the hips and the chest and the abdomen forward, creating this arc in the back as we drop our head backwards. And then on the exhale, gently bringing the upper body over the feet. And if you want to, you can rest your head in your hands if that feels good to do so. Pressing up on the elbows. And then gently placing the hands behind the back, pushing the abs and the chest, opening it up towards the sky. Bending right back. Arms are straight. And then on the exhale, melting the upper body over the legs. Maybe dropping the head so it falls heavy. Seeing if you can get close enough to smell your feet. Hopefully they smell good. Gently rising one more time. Pushing the pelvis, the hips, the abs forward. Squeezing the shoulder blades together at the back. And stretching the front of the neck. And then gently walking the hands forward as we melt the upper body over the legs again. Should feel this opening the hips, giving it a really nice stretch. Gently bringing the knees together and taking the feet apart on a 45-degree angle. We're going to push ourselves straight up into a yogic squat. Gently guiding those knees outward with our forearms, upper arms, I should say. And you should be able to wiggle the toes, so all the weight should be in the four major points of the feet, the heels and the ball of the feet. Gently rising as we start to straighten the legs and then rolling to a standing position. And just rolling the shoulders back. Taking our feet wide now, we're going to come crouch down into a side lunge. Right leg is bent, left leg is straight, and then walking over to the other side. Left leg is bent, right leg is straight. I'm going to do this a couple of times. So back over to the right. And just keep it nice and slow and controlled. And again, if you have any pain going on in the knees, then just stay there in a forward fold. Coming back to the center, taking the legs a little bit wider if you need to, and then placing the hands on the floor in front. Walking the hands forward, and then we're going to walk the hands backward and turn them, and then pull the upper body under the legs as far as we can go. Walking them forward again, walking them back, and then turning the hands and pulling the upper body under. And do this one more time, just slow and controlled. And just go as far as your body will allow. And then gently placing the hands on the hips, rolling the feet or walking the feet inward. And then stepping to the top of your mat, big deep breath in, and then forward folding over the legs, bringing the hands to the mat, stepping back into downward facing dog, pushing the heels towards the earth, pushing the shoulders away from the head. Hips are high, legs are straight. You should be feeling a beautiful stretch through the calves. Stepping the left leg between the hands and dropping the right knee to the floor, untucking the toes, taking our arms high above our head, and then bringing the hands to heart center as we twist the upper body around to the left, gently resting the left arm on the outside of the left leg, and taking our gaze up towards the sky. Coming back to center, pushing the hips forward, just gently resting the hands on the leg, and then bringing the right leg into the right hand, the right foot, and stretching the front of the right leg as our left hand goes up towards the sky. Feeling a stretch through the quadricep. Gently releasing the foot, bringing both hands back to the mat, and then walking the left foot out to the outside of the mat and placing that knee out on a 45-degree angle. And that might be enough for you to get a beautiful stretch. If you want to go a little bit deeper though, you can come down onto the forearms. It's hard to tell on the video, but the leg is out on an angle and your foot's kind of rolled up onto the left side, the outside of the foot. Gently coming back up onto the hands and then framing the front foot, pushing the hips a little bit lower, tucking the back toes and then bringing the body back. So we're sitting on that back foot now, reaching for the toes on the left leg, getting a stretch behind the leg. And gently bringing the left knee next to the right for closed-legged child's pose. Just curling up in a little ball, as our arms rest gently by our side and our forehead rests on the mat. Pressing up, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. And do it all again on the other side. This time bringing the right hand between the arms and then dropping the back knee, untucking the toes. Big deep breath as we take our arms high above our head. And then bringing the hands to heart center, twisting the upper body to the right this time. Right elbow goes high, left elbow is resting on the outside of the right leg. Back to the middle, pushing the hips a little bit further and then grabbing the left foot with the left hand, right arm goes long. And we're pulling that foot as close to the bottom as we can, stretching the front of that leg. And then gently releasing the foot, walking the right foot to the outside of the mat. And then rolling the foot up onto its side as we take that knee out on an angle. And then coming down onto the forearms, if it's safe for you to do so. This is really going to open up the hips and release any tension or emotion that might be stored in and around the pelvic area. So we push back up on the hands, bringing the foot in between the hands, tucking the back toes, and then sitting back on the left heel as we reach for the toes on the right foot. Bringing the knees together for another child's pose. And then gently pressing up, bringing the left leg underneath itself. Right leg goes long, coming down onto the forearms. And if you want to, you can gently rest the forehead on the arms. So this is an alternate pigeon pose, I guess. So instead of the foot going out on a 90-degree angle, it just folds up underneath the left bottom. And you get a different kind of stretch with this pose. As we press back up onto the forearms, tucking the toes. We're going to bring the right leg under itself now, coming down onto the forearms. Left leg is long, toes are pointed. Dropping the head down on the arms if you want to. And if you feel like you're not getting much out of this pose, you can take it back to pigeon pose and get the leg to that 90-degree angle if that is your preferred pose. I'm just going to turn to the side of the mat now and keep our knees really wide and push the pelvis towards the earth, opening those hips up even further. I'm just pausing for a moment. This often helps release lower back pain. Coming back into child's pose now. Feel beautiful after that hip opener. Tucking the toes, downward facing dog. And now we're coming into pigeon pose. Bringing the left leg on a 90-degree angle underneath the upper body. Right leg long. And if you find that your foot slips a bit, you can use the right elbow to help keep the foot in place. Tucking the toes of the right foot, meeting again in downward facing dog. Under the right leg this time, so bringing it up and under. You'll see how I've just placed my left hand next to the right foot to lock it in on that 90-degree angle. Otherwise, I find that sometimes it slips. So I often use the opposite arm to help it keep in place. Tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Should be feeling nice and flexible now, maybe a bit lighter through the legs. As we come onto our bottom now, grabbing the opposite foot as we cross it over, just rocking backwards and forwards on our spine here, giving it a little bit of a massage. You don't have to do this if it doesn't feel nice. Just coming down onto our back, pressing up into bridge pose, squeezing the glutes underneath the body, and then gently lowering the hips and the back to the mat. And bringing the left knee up and over the right leg. The left arm goes out to the side and our gaze goes over there as well. And then right leg comes up and over the left, and our gaze comes over to the right. And you should be starting to feel the heart rate slow down now as we start to close out this practice. Taking the feet wide, letting the knees fall into the middle, making any last minute adjustments. And you can stay in this position with the knees bent, or if you prefer, you can take the legs long into Savasana. We're going to be here for about 5 or 6 minutes. So I'm just going to give you some peace and quiet so you can really tap into that higher self-awareness and allow your physical self to connect with the spiritual self as we allow our body to heal, relax, and find the peace and serenity in this moment. And I'm going to bring you out the other side when it's ready to finish what we started. So let's take a big deep breath in as we start to bring some movement into the body. Maybe giving yourself a cuddle. And then on the exhale, rolling over to one side. And then pushing up into a seated pose position. Closing down the eyes. Maybe taking a moment to thank yourself, forgive yourself, love yourself. And then bringing the hands together at our third eye. May we have kind and loving thoughts today as we lower them to our mouth. May we speak kind and loving words today. As we lower them to our heart, may we have kind and loving intentions today. I hope you see yourselves as the miracle that you are. Shower yourself with love. Namaste.